Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Boink Studios, and check us out on boinkstudios.com, where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode 91 of the podcast, and if you're joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all those involved, we extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading. Thanks for supporting. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. I almost flubbed the line. Did you catch that? I have to tell you, man, I do pretty good at the intros. When I first started the show, a lot of these many years ago, I don't even remember when it was now, I used to rehearse the line. Isn't that crazy? The intro's taken on a life of its own since the show began. And I think it's as big as it's going to be, I believe. Because like we got the sound bite at the beginning, we got my kid, we got the music, and then we got me doing the intro every time. And no, it's not pre-recorded. Thank you very much. I'm not doing that crap. So, hey, what's up? Welcome to the show. Glad you are with us. This is, of course, as we said, episode 91. It's not been too awful long since we were hanging out, talking, conversing, chatting, if you will, about the business of professional wrestling. This is sort of, I didn't really have like a huge agenda for this episode. Sometimes you just want to get one in the can. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to attempt to do here. So, not a lot of great big news happening right now, but there's a few things I want to touch on. So let's go ahead and get to it, shall we? This time, the main event is on Ronda Rousey and other WWE news. Isn't that good? I changed it to news instead of stuff. It's good stuff, right? I'm obsessed with the word stuff. You guys know that. Let's jump right in. All In. You guys know what I'm talking about. This is Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. And it's their event that's coming up. They recently put the tickets on sale. Tickets sold out in 30 minutes. Is that right? Crazy, man. Crazy. And we all knew that it was probably going to go well for them. I think no one knew exactly how good it was going to be. But here we are. As I said, the event sold out in 30 minutes. It is Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. September 1st. Chicago. 10,000 seat arena. Crazy. So yeah, it's coming. And it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be. Can I be honest with you? I don't really know. They've got a lot of people in their corner. And one of them is Meltzer. I mean, obviously, he's a fan of these guys. I've always been a fan of Cody from the day he showed up in WWE till this moment. There's a lot of back and forth when it comes to Cody Rhodes, his time in New Japan, the Young Bucks. You hear that? Storming, man. We will continue. However, we will not let the weather take hold of the program. It was insane earlier, by the way. Is it raining where you are? It's crazy. Well, maybe it's not now, but like if this were live, then yeah, maybe it is. Technology's odd. Rhodes was recently quoted to Deadspin. He said it was the perfect storm of how Chicago became the home for All In. Great fans, great airports, multiple airports at that, which helps with any international talent we contract. he added that Pro Wrestling Tees, which is a huge, huge deal here. It handles their apparel sales. Being located in Chicago doesn't hurt. I could see there being some outside activities at the store during All In weekend. Anyone that laughed at these guys when they first started talking about making this thing a reality, they're not laughing now. There's a lot of debate, as we were getting to earlier, about this event, about the guys behind it, about what it means, about what's going to happen here. For anyone out there who believes this is bad for the wrestling business, you're misinformed. And we're all entitled to our opinion. You're certainly entitled to yours, but in this instance is wrong. It is wrong because this is not WWE. This is not Ring of Honor. This is not New Japan. This is not Lucha Underground. This is 3 to 4 guys. This is Bullet Club. I mean, can you imagine what if DX had put on their own pay-per-view back in the day? I'm talking about separate from WWE. I mean, can you imagine that? That would have, what the NWO put, I mean, and don't talk to me about NWO, WCW pay-per-view events. I don't know of what else you can compare it to. Nothing like this has happened that I know of. It's a big deal. The fact that these guys could sell out 10,000 seats in like 30 minutes based on their names alone, that's huge. I don't know of anything else. I honestly, jeez, it's crazy. It's, okay. So it's hard to put this stuff into words, man. Cody Rhodes, who you would have to say, has more than his dad's looks, has more than his dad's ability in the ring. He also has his dad's moxie, his ability to understand the product, his ability to look beyond what he sees today and look at what it could be. And that was a gift that Dusty Rhodes had, among the many gifts that Dusty Rhodes had. And you have to say that Cody has it now as well. And it's going to, the event itself, because of Cody and because of the Young Bucks, this thing is going to get over huge. They've not yet announced how it's going to be streamed. You know it's going to be streamed, obviously. I mean, I'm going to have to check it out. And yes, it is a good day for the business. It is a good thing for the business that these guys managed to put this thing together. You know it's going to work. You know it's going to get over. They've already sold the place out. The merch that goes along with it, the online promotion, everything that comes with it. To me, it's similar to a band that's not assigned to a record label selling out a big arena. And it's just word of mouth. Like a lot of people know who they are, but they're not, they're not signed to the world's, biggest record label. That to me is what it is. And there's no discounting that. You can say what you want to. We're going to get to that in a minute. You can say what you want to about these guys. There is no way around how important this is. I mean, think about this. A self-funded event. And not all the top guys, but a lot of top guys from New Japan. Stephen Amell. And if you're a fanboy, you know who Stephen Amell is. He's Green Arrow, right? He's going to be involved. A lot of other names. It's right now the match, and I don't know if it's going to be the main event, but it certainly should be. Nick Aldis defending the NWA World Championship against Cody. And yeah, dude, I just, that right there in and of itself, the NWA Championship having a massive stage such as this. And NWA is still in business, man. You guys know that. And, we have yet to know really what's going to happen with Billy Corgan. He's been working on this promotion. He's giving it all he has. They've been working, online on YouTube, on Instagram, getting the videos out there, really promoting the championship, which is something they should do. And it's just been, it's a slow and steady burn. But they're going from slow and steady to, prime time, man. This is 100 miles an hour here going into All In. I can't even imagine what these guys must be feeling right now, the excitement level. You think fans are excited about this, man. These guys behind the scenes have to be ecstatic, and I'm sure they are. So you can't talk about this, and I mean, we got to give the devil his due. You can't talk about this without looking at all sides. Yes, it's going to be big. Yes, a lot of personalities are going to be there. Yes, there's going to be podcasting happening like crazy. Yes, this is the perfect event for 2018 in the pro wrestling business. Yes, it's going to make all the news, and it's going to make history in more ways than one. But we also have to remember who and what we're talking about, okay? This is the Young Bucks. This is the wave of no selling, multiple finishers, kick out at 2.5 every time. This is matches that drag out too long. This is making a mockery and sticking their tongue out, thumbing their nose to the business. Kenny Omega's involved. Need I say more? People discount Jim Cornette because he is brutally honest, because he doesn't care, because he curses a mile a minute, because he not only says things that are outlandish, they're really unnecessary. Okay? But I will say this. You can't discount what, just as you cannot discount what these guys have accomplished and what they're going to accomplish at this event and what the work they've done so far, you also cannot discount Jim Cornette's opinion, because it is the opinion of a lot of pro wrestling fans out there. It's joke wrestling. It's comedy. When I was in the business, we did comedy. Not me personally. That wasn't really my thing. But I saw it done a lot. If it's done sparingly, yeah, it's fun. There's time and place for everything. But at the same time, this seems to have taken hold. It seems to have taken over. And it went from being just a niche part of the business to now becoming predominantly how a lot of these guys make their living. Again, winking at the camera. And letting the fans know that are watching, hey man, we're just here to goof around and have fun. This isn't really that important. It's a shame that it's like that, because the Bucks can work. So can Cody. So can Omega. But, when there's just so many moments of... And New Japan, I enjoy watching. I watch a lot of New Japan. But some of it's hard to watch. And you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to understand what you're getting yourself in for when you watch New Japan. It's a different animal than what you're seeing in WWE. It doesn't mean WWE is better. It doesn't mean New Japan is better. It just means it's two different animals. It's kind of like, it's like MTV and VH1. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Beatles and the Stones. It's like, and I don't know if it deserves that kind of praise. If anything, the wrestling business deserves that kind of praise. The Beatles and the Stones. Maybe it's like The Rock and Stone Cold. Where they're similar, and they do the same thing, but the way they go about doing it is different. And one guy has his fans, the other guy has his fans. So maybe in that regard, you could say it's Stone Cold and Dusty Rhodes. Do you know what I mean? It's Ric Flair, and it's Shawn Michaels as a full blown heel, arrogant. You know what I mean? Or it's, in other words, it's similar. Yes, it borrows from each other. Yes, both products are similar. Yes, both products oddly familiar. One reminds you of the other. But at the end of the day, it's two different things. It's not even WCW and WWE at this point. Not to me. I don't even know if I can call it ECW and WWE. Maybe. I mean, I guess that comparison's fair, right? But again, as I said, you can't discount either side at this point. I have always been a firm believer that if you want to be taken seriously, and people want to call themselves smart pro wrestling fans, I don't know why there's an obsession with calling yourself a smart fan. We're all smartened up to the business. We all know it's a work. I don't know why people insist on nicknames at this point. It's kind of silly if you ask me, but I don't know how you can call yourself a smart fan. I don't know how you can call yourself an educated fan. I don't know how you can call yourself a writer, an analyst like I do, like a lot of guys and gals do, unless you are willing to be quiet for 2 seconds and listen to the other guy's opinion. And, a lot of what the Bucks and Cody does, I don't care for. A lot of what Omega does, I don't care for. Yeah, it's over the top. It's goofball. Cornette calls it video game wrestling. And he should. The NBA gets slammed by a lot of old school critics who say it's video game basketball. Do you know what I mean? NFL, same way. Is no matter how big these companies become, no matter how big a guy becomes, he will always have his critics. And unless the critic just has no foundation on which to stand, he's probably got a point in some of the things he's saying. Now, conversely, if the guys in New Japan, these boys and their friends or whoever we're talking about, they sit back, they call Cornette out of touch, they say he doesn't understand evolution of the product, he doesn't know. Well, okay, they got a point too. I love the old school stuff, but I have to be willing, as a 45-year-old guy, to admit that the stuff that worked in 1978 may not work today. But where Cornette is coming from, and it's very simple to understand here, okay? This is not calculus, man. Cornette is coming from this. Pro wrestling in its essence is telling a story. And the simpler you keep it, the better the story is, and the more people will follow it. And it's about connecting, and it's about pulling at someone's heartstrings and forcing them to suspend their disbelief long enough to watch this match or this show or whatever. And so that part of the business is still the same as it was in the 50s through today and beyond. That part will never change. If you need any proof of that, look at Okada, look at Seth Rollins, look at AJ Nakamura. Guys that understand it's time to tell the story. The pyro, the pomp and circumstance, the gear, the lights, the music. Okay, yeah, it's fun. Hoorah. But, let's get down to telling the story. And so you can't throw away Jim Cornette and say he's just an old dude that's out of touch. And again, I can see where they're coming from, but I can see where he's coming from as well. So you have to be able to take a step back, and before you start blasting anyone in this little back and forth these guys have going all the time, you have to be able to take a step back and say, well, let's just listen to all sides. So yeah, they've got a point just like Jim has a point. So where are we coming down on this? How do you feel about All In? I think it's going to be interesting. I do plan on watching it. As I said before, a lot of New Japan is hard to watch because of the comedy, but you have to take that stuff in stride. If I get to see Tanahashi versus Okada, and I get to see Ishii, and I get to see Makabe, and I get to see Toru Yano, even. Can't help it. Hiroki Goto. A lot of the guys that I love in New Japan. If it means I got to take some comedy along with it, you know what? I'll take some comedy along with it. It is what it is. But I'll tell you this, at the end of the day, despite how this goes, whether it is a massive success, whether this becomes a yearly event and runs the next 5-10 years, who knows what this could lead to for these guys. No matter what happens, you have to say hats off to Cody. You have to say hats off to the Young Bucks, Marty Scurll, all these guys who put their heads together and said, we want to do this. Let's give it a shot. Despite their motivations, if they're doing this because, they want to thumb their nose to the establishment again, if they want to thumb their nose to the old guard like Jim Cornette, it's whatever. But again, I don't know how you can sit back and say this is a bad thing for the business. I think this is important, and I think it means something. And I think everybody should tune in and watch it. Hey, I'm not getting any money off these guys. They've evidently got something to throw around, man. That's cool. They could throw something my way. I'd take it. But yeah, interesting to see what happens. I've not written about this yet. I may work on a column shortly for you. My output has really not been all that fantastic lately. But, life, man. Life happens, baby. What else are you going to do? What can you say? Let's move on. There's something else it's really been on my mind, and I have written about this one, okay? You could find it at Wrestling Rumors. Ronda Rousey and the rush to judgment on WWE Money in the Bank. Wow, this is a good one. Ronda is going to face Nia Jax on June 17th. That's June 17th at WWE Money in the Bank. And it's for the Raw Women's Championship. Woo-hoo. Now, I'd like to tell you that Ronda, this is 6 months of Ronda being in WWE. She's had some 5-star matches. She's worked the best. She's beaten the best. The hottest chick in the world, Ronda Rousey. That was a Kiss introduction, by the way. I don't know how it got in there. But, yeah, none of that's true because she ain't beat nobody, okay? Therein lies the controversy for a lot of people. And I can understand that. Okay, and you know what? Just as with Cody versus Cornette, just as with New Japan versus the Old Guard, then there's points to both sides here too, man. A lot of people saying that she doesn't deserve it. She does. She hasn't earned it. She stepped over so many girls to get... Stop. This is not a title fight in the octagon. Let me be clear, okay? This is not Ronda Rousey stepping past 3 or 4 other female contenders to get a title shot when she's only ever wrestled one time or fought one time. That's not what this is. I often write the words, guys have to earn their spots. I believe that, and I believe that, and I believe it all, and I wrote it again very recently. Guys have to earn their spots. They have to prove that they can hang. They have to work hard to get where they're going, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. The story is the journey, not the destination. Right? I've used all those cliches and a whole bunch more, and I 100% strongly believe all of it. But take this into consideration. We are talking about the business of professional wrestling. It is a phony business. It is a business that is not real. No one is winning championships in pro wrestling. No one is becoming the world heavyweight champion. No one forced another guy to tap out. No one defeated a streak. Everything that you see in the ring, for the most part, and there are exceptions, don't at me, okay, for God's sake. Most of what you see in the ring has already been predetermined. Now, remember we were talking about smart fans? You guys are supposed to know this stuff, man. I know it. And if I know it, I know you know it. So let's relax. Let's take a breath. Watch this. In through the nose. Out with the mouth. Out through the mouth. Maybe it's not as easy as I said, man. Relax. Everyone take it easy, man. We're talking about a UFC MMA fighter who is now has to pull her punches so she doesn't kill anyone. Who now, when she uses a submission hold, she's not applying pressure because she could legitimately rip someone's arm out of their socket. We're talking about a girl that probably there's no female in WWE who could legitimately fight her one-on-one and live to talk about it. I said probably, okay? Anything's possible. And we're talking about she now has to dumb down her skill set and modify it so she can, quote-unquote, compete. But she's competing in an unrealistic, predetermined, artificial sports competition environment. And we're upset because she is now going to compete for an artificial, manufactured, meaningless piece of metal bolted to a leather strap. I love pro wrestling. You guys know that. I'm assuming a lot of you guys do too. And I love everything about it. I remember the days of Tommy Young hoisting the World Heavyweight Championship above his head during Ric Flair versus Dusty, or Ric Flair versus Sting, or Ric Flair versus enter your own name here, Ricky Steamboat, whatever. And the crowd popped off of Tommy lifting the belt. Titles mean something. But you know who they mean something to? The fans. The fans. Now, I'm not suggesting, again, don't at me, I'm not suggesting that the men and women in pro wrestling, specifically WWE and other companies abroad, don't care about the belts. I'm not saying that they don't think it would be cool to be the guy. Stone Cold Steve Austin has said more than one time, if you don't want to be the guy, if you don't want to be the best, if you don't want to be the champion, you shouldn't work here. You shouldn't be there. And you know what? I'm cool with that. I've agreed with that. And I've written that before too. I've written a lot. It's 8 years and counting for me. So yeah, I've written a lot, okay? But you have to understand, none of this is up to the talent. And from the moment that Ronda was brought in, we heard rumblings of female superstars in WWE are unhappy. She's stepping past... Jesus Christ on a cracker. Listen, man, for the upteenth time, we're not talking about boxing. We're not talking about UFC. We're not talking about Major League Baseball or the NBA or the NFL or NHL. We're not even talking about lacrosse, okay? We're talking about a sport that is not really a sport. So please, relax. The most important thing here is not the title. It's not even the match. It's the story. I've seen matches that last an hour, and the story's pretty good. I've seen matches that last, 2 minutes, and they're amazing. The story is amazing, even if the match wasn't. The story is what matters here, people. And a lot of you guys, and this includes me as well, a lot of us, how about that? A lot of us get really bent out of shape when things don't go the way we think they should go. We snap to judgment. The moment something happens, the moment someone speaks, the moment a belt is lost or a guy or gal turns heel or face, we just jump all over it. And we criticize it and we rip on it. But the truth is we don't have to, man. Because you have to give the story a chance to happen. Does that make sense? And as I said, we're all guilty of not letting that be the case. We're all guilty of not letting that happen. We're all guilty of rushing to judgment and moving too fast, and we can't accept what's in front of us, and we try to turn it into something else, or what have you. We all are very guilty of it. I do it too. But there are moments when you have to take a step back, breathe. Everyone just keep breathing. Man, you got a SpongeBob reference in here too. How can you beat the show, baby? But yeah, man, take a step back and just breathe and just think about this stuff and just relax. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to temper everything I've said to you with, or counter everything I've said to you with this. Well, what about Roman Reigns, Tom? What about that? Okay, granted, you have a point. If I'm so right, if I'm so smart about wait and see what happens with the story, then what could the story possibly be with Roman Reigns? How long are we supposed to wait till the story pays off, till something great happens? I get it. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but, there again, you have to take certain things with a grain of salt. You have to take things as they come. The last show, I gently, well, not so gently maybe, reminded everyone out there that Roman Reigns is the guy, and you can be upset, and you can hate it, and you can loathe it, and you can be suicidal or whatever it is you want to do to yourself. But the fact is, you couldn't change it. No one can change it, and that's just the way it is. So you have, in order to deal with it, in an effort to deal with it, you have to take things as they come, and you have to understand that life will go on. So take each match one match at a time. Take each chapter one chapter at a time until you understand what's going on in front of you. And that's hard. Hear my dog's collar happening? He's roaming the house right now. It's crazy. It's what he does. So take it in stride. You have to. Again, one step at a time, man. That's what you have to do. So, I don't know. Let's see. Let's just see how this all plays out. Ronda's going to be good. She'll be fine. I have more. This is going to rub people the wrong way. I have more faith in Ronda than I do Nia. I'm not sold on Nia Jax. It's nothing personal. It never is, by the way. You guys know that. I like her. I don't love her. I think she's fine. I think she could be better. I think a lot of it is WWE's fault. I think a lot of it is she's not comfortable in her own skin in some matches. Not all matches. But we've only ever seen Nia versus, for the most part, the girl that she can throw around the ring. Whether it's Bayley or Alexa or Sasha, whoever. That's who we've seen her work. We've never seen her work Ronda. Can't throw Ronda around the ring. Because Ronda could cinch you up. And once Ronda cinches you up, man, you're not going to be able to move. So, it's interesting to see what's going to happen. How soon they're going to go from smiling, friendly competitors to being ruthless combatants in the ring. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how she does. And here's another reminder. As I said in the column, getting booked in a championship match is not the same as winning the championship match. So everyone calm down and relax, okay? We all need to just take a breather. Life's too short, man. We've got a monkey in the White House, and we've got the world around us just going nuts on social media about everything under the sun. And we are in the midst of the biggest circus of my lifetime. And we're worried about Ronda Rousey getting a title shot against Nia Jax when she hasn't been there that long. Oy vey. Relax. It's going to be fine. I told you my output lately has not been all that great, so there's not been a lot coming out of Boing Studios here lately. And by the way, apologies for not getting the website up to date. I had to get back on that. Let me talk a little bit about a couple of other things that's happening right now. I did, also, same site, by the way, WrestlingRumors.net. By the way, it's not .com. Published this one today, actually. Does Bobby Lashley's road lead to Brock Lesnar? It's an interesting discussion. Go check it out. I'll just touch on a little bit here. To me, Bobby Lashley is like extra pepperoni. That's what Lashley is to me. He's extra pepperoni. I got this pizza. It's deep dish. It's delicious. It's got all this cheese. It's got some great pepperoni on it. It's got some sausage, which I love sausage. It's got some bacon, maybe. God, I'm getting hungry. It's got some ham, perhaps. Some ground beef, okay? And then I got extra pepperoni. The pizza was already good. I was getting pretty full. And man, that extra pepperoni is a nice touch. And man, it's good. I didn't really need it though. But it's there. It's there. Hey, here's the extra pepperoni. Here I am. I'm on top of your pizza. Eat me. That's what Lashley is. He's extra pepperoni. I didn't really need him. But I'm not going to throw him away either. It's good. WWE is maxed. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have any more room, but they got very little of it. They're maxed out with talent, dude. They are. And I know the ebb and flow of that company is, a guy gets hurt, he misses a long time. When's the last time you asked yourself, where's Dean Ambrose at? When's he going to come back? How worried were you about Big Cass? I know it's apples and oranges, I'm just saying. You get distracted, man. A lot of talent in that company, dude. They didn't need Bobby Lashley. They don't need him now. But Bobby became available. The timing was right. And if Bobby Lashley's available and both sides are on the same page, you sign Bobby Lashley. You find something to do with him when you get him there. What was it? Was it Richard Branson that said, and I'm loosely quoting him here, but if you get hired for a job that you don't know how to do, you don't not take the job. You take it and then you learn how to do it when you get there. Because you don't turn down opportunity, right? And that's, to me, is where Lashley's at right now. He didn't need to come back to WWE. He could have been just fine in Impact, or maybe if he had wanted to, he could have went to New Japan, dude. I mean, that would have been an interesting run, wouldn't it? I would like to have seen some of that. Lucha Underground. There's opportunities. No one's WWE. Don't misunderstand me. He didn't have to come back. But now that he's there, since he is there, you may as well use him. Sami Zayn's the first guy on deck. Don't know where in the world that's going to go. I think Sami believes he is more entertaining than maybe he really is. And I don't dislike Sammy. I like him. I think if anybody's going to have that personality and that bubbly, snarky, kind of like a smarmy game show host, he's a little bit off his rocker kind of personality, it may as well be Sammy. No one else is doing that. And he's not going to get over as a straightforward baby face. He can't really play the underdog thing anymore because of Daniel Bryan. That's Daniel Bryan's role. So he may as well do this. And I'm not saying that this upcoming feud or rivalry or tit for tat with Lashley won't be good. I'm not saying it won't be fun. The only thing I'm saying is that it's going to be an odd pairing. I didn't see it coming. How many of us saw this coming? Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. I don't know, man. It's to me, it's odd. I don't know. I don't dislike it. I'm curious to see what happens. I think it could either be entertaining and fun, or it's going to be a train wreck. I don't know that it's going to be anything in between. I don't think it's going to be, it's all right. I think it's going to be one or the other. Could be wrong. Just my take. But, again, reserve your judgment until you see what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, Lashley is heading to Brock Lesnar, I believe. I don't know that that's true. But I think if you have both guys under the same roof, you'd be hard-pressed to find a reason to not put them against each other. Of course, having said that, you had Sting and Undertaker under the same roof, too, and you didn't do anything with them, which I'm still hot about, by the way. Thank you very much. Which still, gripes me to no end. I can't stand that. Should have signed that match 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it's been now. It's ridiculous. Taker's only getting older, okay? Nonsense, man. By the way, when's the last time you thought about The Undertaker? I'm just going back to what I said earlier, man. You get distracted. You don't think about stuff. It just happens. Lashley's kind of forgotten. He's there. They go, and next, please welcome Bobby Lashley. Oh, crap, I forgot about Bobby. He's here too. It's kind of funny. What else is happening right now? Money in the Bank is all the rage right now to see what's going to happen there. People are distracted by other things going on in the company. John Cena and Nikki Bella. I can't believe I'm going to waste time on my show for this. I'm not really. Look. This is not reality TV. WWE likes to believe itself to be reality TV. It's really not. Okay? I mean, I guess it's the closest thing you can compare to it. And they've been positioned on E. They're positioned with various other, media outlets around the world, obviously. And a lot of that's done by design. I don't think a lot of it had to do with the media going after them. I think it's a marriage made in hell. And it has been since the first WrestleMania. This is what Vince McMahon wants. What he's always wanted. He wants these guys and gals to be celebrities, not just to be pro wrestlers, because that's a bad word in Vince McMahon's mind. So they have to be celebrities. They have to transcend the business and be larger than life. Well, he got what he wanted, but as a result of him getting what he wants, we have to tune in to, entertainment gossip shows or see this garbage online, and John and Nikki's smiling faces are plastered all over the screen for us to look at. I don't care what's happening with them. All due respect. I got my own life. You guys do too. Don't feed into this. It's okay to wish them well. It's okay to like one or both of them or whatever. Don't get sucked in. Everything's a work. I read somewhere someone suggested that this whole breakup was a work. I don't know sometimes what people are thinking when they write stuff. I don't even know. We've all got our own opinions, as I said, but sometimes those opinions are off the reservation, as it were, a little wacky. So I just look at this as being one of those things that happen. Don't care about it. Don't have any idea. John's not in the ring, and that's what I write about. You're not going to read any comms from me about this mess, because it's a mess, and I don't want any part of it. But hey, there's a slot left for Money in the Bank. Your boy could show up, man. John could be there. I don't know. He is still as much a part of WWE as he ever has been. He doesn't have to be competing in the ring. His name and face is still plastered all over the website, the trucks, the advertising material, the promos, everything. Everywhere you look, John's still there. He's not gone anywhere. People still talking about him. Going to always talk about him. A lot more people are talking about AJ and Nakamura. Segue to their next match. I say their next match because they've worked like 94 times now. This will be the 95th time. I'm not slamming them. I tease. Relax. They had a great match on SmackDown. They're capable of having a 5-star match every time, I believe. Couple things. One, they had not found their groove yet. Or number two, they were saving it until this SmackDown. I don't know what the answer is. But it could very well be, there's like, look, we'll go out there, we'll give them a good show, but we're going to pull the brakes in certain spots, hold back a little, and then when we get to that SmackDown, let's really crank it out. I don't know. I have no idea. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I'm a big fan of both these guys, always have been, and we're going to talk more about Money in the Bank the closer we get to the event. And remember, June 17th, folks. And no, I'm not getting any money on the backside from WWE. The month of June is an interesting month for yours truly. So, we'll see what happens. Becky Lynch recently qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Right now, it is Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Ember Moon, and Becky Lynch. Still 4 spots to fill. That's a big match, man. So yeah, whatever the men can do, the women can do better. And they're proving that, man. So it's going to be a fun night, I hope. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Let me throw something else at you. And again, I don't know what I thought I was going to talk about here today, but for yours truly, it's kind of a slow news day. That's just me talking. I don't really see a whole lot much going on. Hard to write when it's like that. The only thing you can do is like pick the next event. I can't call it pay-per-view. I pick the next big money event. I don't know what monthly event, whatever. And write about a match going on. So that's what I do. I continue to be embarrassed at times to be a pro wrestling fan because of the way people conduct themselves online. It's embarrassing. I'm sick of not being called a mark, but seeing other people call each other marks, and people just don't have any idea what they're talking about. And I don't know the last time I heard NBA fans saying, I hate NBA fans. I don't know. I don't want to get off on a rant on this stuff, man. I've ranted and I've soapboxed about this to no end, but it just bothers me. We just had to be so vicious and we had to be so cruel, and I just never will understand why. We have to hurt each other. We have to talk down to each other. We have to make out like we are just, that all we are is just, we're all enemies, and no one's smart if everyone's smart, and everyone's stupid and all this other stuff. And I don't get that either. I don't understand. It is what it is. I mean, there's not much you can do about it, but, try to be good to each other, for God's sake. I mean, I'm not like, the ghost Christmas present or something, but, for goodness sake, man, try to relax. I mean, there's a lot of garbage associated with this. There's a lot of garbage in life. You just got to take it in stride, man. And do the best you can with it. I mean, I do. As a pro wrestling fan, I have to. Because, man, we're spoon-fed a lot of garbage. But there's also a lot of good stuff happening. And we can't forget that. I mean, we live in a world where a handful of pro wrestling guys just sold out a 10,000-seat arena. I mean, a 10,000-seat arena. I mean, that's a big deal. We live in a world where, Sting has wrestled in the WWE ring. I mean, where a lot of the things we said could never happen has happened. We live in a world where pro wrestling has become, it's no longer a niche product. WWE has its fingers in a lot of pies right now. We live in a world where WWE has created a minor league or a developmental league that most days outshine the main product. I mean, what? It's amazing. But we just all want to sit around and, hurl insults at each other. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. And and as we've said multiple times here on the program, man, you can be upset and you can have your opinion. You can say this, that, or the other thing about whoever you'd like to, and you can write, or you can complain, or you can raise your voice, or you can be as quiet as a church mouse, whatever it is you want to do. But at the end of the day, have respect for each other, man. And if someone's giving you a hard time, rather than tee off on them and I see guys on Twitter, man, they're back and forth. There's like 47 comments and replies back and forth, vulgarity and ripping at each other. And not to sound like a saint here, because I'm far from it, but God, stop. And do you not have anything else going on in your life, man? A lot of us do. Just relax. So I'm not going to soapbox anymore. It's thundering outside. The sun's out and it's raining. My mom used to say this is the devil beating his wife. I never understood that. I still don't. Mom had a bunch of those old sayings and cliches and tall tales or urban legends, whatever you want to call it. I'm out of breath for some reason, man. Let me tell you something. It's a good time to be a fan. Just relax. Take it in stride. Don't get too awful excited at any one thing. Everything's going to be all right. Okay? Al Green said it. Don't forget it. I can't. So, listen, man, I don't have much more for you. That's really all I got. I just wanted to bang some stuff out here. And again, we've got more episodes to go, of course. We are going to talk about Money in the Bank. We are going to get caught up on certain other topics and discuss other things at length. Yours truly's got to... I've got more writing to do. It's what I do. We are going to update the website, so hang loose on that. Don't forget us, man. BoingStudios.com. That's all you need to know. Twitter handle's the same. Facebook's handle's the same. Email, BoingStudios@yahoo.com. Can't beat it. So check it out. Thanks for listening, man. We appreciate your business. Thanks for coming around. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts. Right now, Tom Clark's 30-Minute Fun Show is the only one that's been updated. Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour is still sitting there with a year since our last episode. Absolutely ridiculous. Kyle's a tough man to find, dude. It's like trying to find Dory. It's finding Dory? Yeah, that's it. Nemo. 2 movies, man. It's hard to remember. Jeez. It got hard to remember. Did you catch that? It's funny. So, yeah. He's a hard guy to nail down. But, listen, that's it for me, man. I'm going to wrap it up here. Like I said, be good to each other. Show each other respect. Watch some wrestling. Go buy the Black Panther on Blu-ray. I did. I've watched it like 4 times already. I've already seen it twice, but I've seen it like 4 times now. Probably going to watch it again as soon as I stop recording this episode. So, life's too short, man. Get out there and have fun. Go see a pro wrestling show. Remember to support your local pro wrestling. As long as they're not putting each other through tables, setting each other on fire, and using staple guns on each other's foreheads. Newsflash, that's not wrestling. That's a whole other soapbox for a whole different time. But yeah, go see a wrestling show, man. Kick back and watch some WWE. Watch some old school NWA on WWE Network. You'll like that. It'll educate you. A lot of people need educating when it comes to business. So, all right, man, that's it for us. We're out of here again. Thanks a lot for coming by and for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. And we will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.